बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि।
The 8th International Tripitaka chanting was held in Bodh Gaya, India from the 2nd to the 12th of December 2012. Bodh Gaya is the most sacred place in the world for Buddhists. It is here that the Buddha was enlightened as he meditated under the holy Bodhi tree in 528 BCE. The Tripitaka, or three baskets of the wisdom of the Buddha, are the earliest extant Buddhist canon. The chanting of the Tripitaka is an ancient tradition. At Bodh Gaya, it would have been done on a daily basis for 1,500 years, up till the 13th century when the great temple was abandoned. The Light of Buddha Dharma Foundation have revived this ancient tradition after a gap of 700 years. This is the 8th annual event of the chanting organized by the foundation.
Venerable Fra Promosity is like in the ceremony Lem, Sayadaw and Venerable Ryu Nyaninda. To Mrs. Wangmo Dixie, Mr.
We have four things that we're doing. And the first one, of course, is to bring the monks to India, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But the second thing we've been doing is installing Dharma bells and trying to make public conveniences and trying to improve the amenities in the Buddhist sites of pilgrimage. An example is behind us, this bell here, which was installed, I think, it was 2006, I think, wasn't it? 2006, I think. And it's a great Dharma bell. It's a 5-ton bronze bell. It's an extraordinary fact about the land here. That bell has a 8-foot wide foundation. And when we dug the foundation down 8 feet, we found 32 Buddha statues, which of course were given to the local museum here in Bodh Gaya. But it shows you what's under our feet. Everywhere you walk here, there are just thousands and thousands and thousands of statues, because Bodh Gaya has been an international center of pilgrimage for thousands of years. Really from the time of the parinirvana of the Buddha, right up until the 13th century, in fact on from the 13th century. There were Buddhists coming from all over the Buddhist world, all over Southeast Asia to Bodh Gaya. And so this place is really steeped in history. It's an extraordinary fact. Chanting the Tipitaka is an ancient tradition. In Buddha's time, there was no writing, so all of the monks would learn what the Buddha taught through chanting the teachings. And indeed, if you look at the Tipitaka or any one of the ancient Buddhist writings, you can see they're designed for rhyming speech. They're actually designed to be recited. And the Tipitaka was only written down in the 1st century, so for 400 or 500 years it was chanted all the time. And here in Bodh Gaya there was a Sri Lankan vihara, which is a little bit behind us, about 30 or 40 yards behind us. There's a Sri Lankan vihara under the ground. And there they chanted the Tipitaka every day for over 1,000 years. Well, in 2006, on the anniversary of the 2,550th Buddha Jayanti, it was decided to do a one-off Tipitaka chanting here in Bodh Gaya. But it was so successful on the basis of that, the elders, all the elders from the temples here in Bodh Gaya got together and decided to form a council called the International Tipitaka Chanting Council, and that council has now been the supervising body for an annual chanting event, which is now in its 8th year. And like the Buddha Dharma Foundation, which I run with my wife here, Wang Mo, this foundation is the primary sponsor of the event. But of course, it's a huge international event now. We're a small part of it, really. It's now got 1,500 monks coming from 10 countries and about another 1,000 lay people. So it's really a major gathering.
There is not any accident why we are doing the ceremony here under the Bodhi tree. It is done with all full intentions because we know that this is the most sacred place on earth. There is no doubt in our hearts and minds that this is the place, and as you all know, the previous Buddhas attained their awakening here under the sacred Bodhi tree, and the future Buddhas will also awaken under this sacred Bodhi tree. So the power and the blessings of this land are truly great and cannot be forgotten. We are coming from afar to pay respect to the original motherland where it all began. These great blessings have a right to be held in the hands and in the hearts of the original descendants of the Indian people, and may they be the ones to radiate these great blessings in all directions for world peace. Some have traveled over 40 hours, train plus 20 hours on the flight, from all different directions, because this is a sacred place, the most sacred place on earth. There have been many times that we have traveled afar to these Southeast Asian countries with one message: please come to Bodh Gaya, please come back to the most sacred place on earth. They know that. It doesn't take much convincing. They know that this is the place to be, and the timing is right. I have traveled in many different contexts. I've traveled to caves, I've traveled to temples in many different countries, and there's a feeling among the senior monks that this is the time for us to pray, to come together back to Bodh Gaya. So that kind of message is very powerful when we all come together under one umbrella with one message, a message of peace, a message of inner harmony, and that transcends every national boundary. That transcends every ism. That transcends even conventional truth. It is the truth for humanity. It's a universal truth. When we come together and embrace what loving kindness is, humanity to humanity, that is what we want to achieve those perfections. We have so many defilements, but if we can try to purify and become like a noble one that the Buddha spoke of in his Sangha, like an Arya Sangha. The Arya Sangha came from here and should be returned back.
Because people came here in their thousands, and not just common people, kings and emperors and conquerors, oh, you can't imagine, all came to Bodh Gaya from the time of the enlightenment of the Buddha right through until the 13th century. And what's happening now, as the interest in Buddhist pilgrimage reawakens, is we're seeing the same phenomenon. Thousands upon thousands of people coming back, to the point now where in a vast country like India, 1 in 6 of the visitors to India come to Bodh Gaya. So you can imagine what's happening. If you spend half an hour under the Bodhi tree, you will see Buddhists from all over the world practicing in their unique way. We have a strategy here for helping to rebuild the Buddhist culture of India. Remember, India was a predominantly Buddhist country for at least 1,000 years, a hugely important period in its history, when India was the wealthiest country in the world, where Patna was the largest city in the world. You know, Patna was 6 times bigger than Rome. India as a country is an extraordinary phenomenon in the world. The world's largest democracy, incredibly diverse, far more diverse than any other country in the world, yet with this unifying spiritual bedrock underneath it all. Scratch an Indian, you can have a spiritual discussion. It's absolutely extraordinary. It doesn't matter who you meet, taxi driver to a cabinet minister. Absolutely universal situation. Buddhism thrives when people are educated because it's a wisdom tradition. It's not a tradition that says, believe in this and you will go to heaven. So we feel very strongly that time for Buddhism is back. The benefit of the Buddhist culture is that Buddhism promotes tolerance, it promotes learning, it promotes spirituality in collaboration with technical progress.
The Theravada tradition had never gathered as one body for a religious function before this event under the Bodhi tree. This is highly auspicious and a sign of the importance that all the Southeast Asian countries give to India as the motherland of their tradition. It unifies them under one umbrella, which breaks the barriers of national politics and of different monastic traditions. This great event has been supported by many Sangha Rajas and Sangha Nayakas. Large numbers of monks from 10 countries have gathered at the Mahabodhi temple.
Our most venerables are all.
This has also resulted in a substantial increase of visitors on religious pilgrimage to Bodh Gaya, as well as to the other sites of the Buddha. The message of the Buddha is bringing together so many to leave behind the turmoil and confusion of the material world, to find peace at the holy site of Bodh Gaya.
Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami, buddham